Good evening, viewers, and welcome to our next installment of the Nightly News. Tonight we bring you a story of the 3 Mile Island nuclear reactor and the accident which aroused the concern of the nation. We hope you enjoy our story.
On Wednesday, March 28th, this year, 1979, 3 Mile Island experienced a partial core meltdown. Mechanical failures began at 4 a.m. and resulted in an accident that would forever change America's trust in nuclear power. Just outside the capital city of Harrisburg lies Dauphin County, a peaceful community on the banks of the Susquehanna River consisting mostly of farmers who were blissfully ignorant of the looming threat across the river. The day began like any other until witnesses reported the air settling to an eerie, stagnant state. There was no wind, just stale heat. Some thought it was an earthquake, while others were convinced that it was the apocalypse. However, it quickly became apparent that 3 Mile Island was the cause. A fear of radiation and other detrimental effects led to a mandatory evacuation of women and children from the area. However, skepticism still exists among the evacuees, and now people want answers.
We're concerned because of the age of my son and my daughter, because they gave the warning for preschool children and pregnant women. Thank God I'm not, but he is only 2. And you don't want to take a chance when they're this little or something that can endanger them, their lives.
If it's serious, they're not truthfully going to come out and tell you because they'll start a panic, you know? So I think they're just slowly, I think they tell you what they want you to know.
So essentially what happens with one of these nuclear meltdowns is you get too much heat builds up in these big reactor cells, and the reactor, we can't stop the reaction, and it burns right through the floor, and it's very dangerous, and a lot of radiation will be released. And what happened in this particular case was, you see, we had a minor, not a big deal, a minor problem with one of the cooling system. So the system shuts down, but there's still decay heat, which is essentially okay. So the reaction stopped, but it's still releasing heat, and that builds up pressure in the system. So we open this valve. You see, we open this valve to release the pressure, but the valve got stuck. And then the cooling system water is flowing out of this valve, and then because of a fault in just, you know, how we organized our system, no one noticed the problem for too long, and too much coolant escaped, and then we had a partial meltdown.
So I was in charge of the emergency cooling systems in the reactor, and about on the 3rd day, I realized that there was this hydrogen bubble of hydrogen gas at the top of the pressure vessel, which was not good at all because hydrogen gas explodes.
The health effects of this nuclear accident on local residents will not completely be known until many years down the road. However, the most common health effects from such radiation exposure includes cancer, skin problems, and issues with internal organs.
Well, I don't know about the reactor, this nuclear reactor, but I know the animals sure are acting funny, haven't they?
Yeah, the cows.
Yeah, the cows and the chickens and the dogs.
I've been acting funny myself. I think my kidney's starting to shrivel.
Oh, damn. Well, no, Becky got that thing in her eye.
Yeah.
I think Becky's dead, isn't she? Oh, damn.
The farmers are not the only ones concerned with 3 Mile Island.
We're just really scared about this newfangled nuclear device technology power stuff.
Dauphin County residents are now concerned with the safety of nuclear power and how the radiation will affect them in the long run.
There could be a meltdown at 3 Mile Island, and that could release lots of radiation, and that would be horrible. I mean, just like mutated flymen walking around everywhere, and stuff out of comic books just happening.
Just 12 days prior to the accident, a monumental film was released. This film, The China Syndrome, is currently contributing to the paranoia that is sweeping the country. It focuses on a nuclear meltdown that essentially burns through the Earth to China. The film claims that with a full-scale nuclear meltdown, land the size of Pennsylvania would permanently and suddenly become inhabitable. Although fictional, this film undoubtedly adds to the increasing worry and concern of local citizens.
We just saw a video also the China syndrome, and that talked about how if there was a nuclear meltdown, the nuclear material would melt all the way through to China. And we don't want that to happen to the Chinese. No. They're relatively nice, courteous people. And we don't want any nuclear stuff going into their backyard.
Yeah. So, what are the implications of the partial meltdown? Some experts are concerned that investments in nuclear power will dwindle away because of paranoia. But others think that there could be some good from the accident. Safety precautions and regulations could be increased in not only nuclear power, but in engineering and other fields. However, no one can truly say the effect of this meltdown, and only time will tell.
Well, that's our story, folks. Who knows what the ramifications of this catastrophe may be for the future? How the future of nuclear power may have fallen to the sad circumstances of this particular unfortunate incident. That's our story, and this is the Nightly News. Thank you. Good night.